there's
share
words
that.
which are kind of like rituals,
Mhm.
like beliefs, or I don't know. There's routines. So yeah, how do you define a ritual?
There's this distinction between habit and ritual. So a habit is something that we just do automatically. I get up in the morning, I might go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, go downstairs, have my tea and coffee, and get the day going and repeat, repeat, repeat. That's habit. Or like driving someplace that we always drive to, like work, and then it's just a habit. We don't have to think about it. What distinguishes, say, a habit from a ritual is the awareness and the consciousness that you add to it. So a ritual is a conscious, intentional act you choose to make habitual. So, for example, like I gave that example of habit, if you wake up in the morning and you begin with gratitudes, and then maybe you then go to the bathroom and brush your teeth, and then you go downstairs, maybe have tea and coffee, but then you set your intentions for the day. Perhaps you write those down. Perhaps you play music, which is something I recommend a lot, to a kind of music to start your day. Now it's a ritual because now we're adding consciousness to what we're doing. So it's
Hmm.
in that consciousness, that's that distinction between habit and ritual.
So when you say consciousness, is this like being in the moment, kind of like bringing a
Awareness.
certain energy to
That's
this?
right. An awareness of the moment, an awareness. Otherwise, we're just habituated. We're
Yes.
just habituated, you know, and we're not even thinking about what's happening. And most of us are spending our lives in reacting versus responding instead, in other words, choosing how we want to experience the moment. So ritual really helps us to be more grounded, say present, to experience those moments
Hmm.
differently.
You went into gratitude about this whole experience, this life defining experience of being a refugee and all of that. And it seems to me as though that was a very powerful choice. You chose to really go into that energy and not go into what I would call a lower vibrational energy
Mhm.
of lack, of want, of all of that kind of. So it is about choice, isn't it? Because so often it seems as though this is a common thing in France. It's a bit of an expression in France. We say, "Oh, I don't have any choice," in French, je n'avais pas le choix. We didn't have the choice.
Yes.
And yeah, whenever people say that to me, it kind of annoys me a bit because we've always got choices.
Yes.
It seems we've always got choices, just that some of those choices sometimes are really hard. Where are you on that?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And I, like you, believe that we always have choices. We think we don't have a choice, but then we have to ask ourselves, is that really true?
Hmm.
Is it really true that we don't have a choice? And what is it that would make us think that we don't have a choice? We have a choice in how we feel. We may think that we don't have a choice in how we feel because we're stuck in the feeling, right? We may feel very strongly this anger or this rage or whatever it may be, or this anxiety, but we actually do have the choice to feel differently. It's important to know also, one, first to trust yourself when it comes to symptoms, because you're within your own body. Trust yourself, seek support, right? Like what you provide, all the wonderful information that you provide. And the to know that we can rewire ourselves, this has been known probably thousands of years, but more in modern science, we could say maybe even like the last 20, 25 years, we know about neuroplasticity, which is that we can rewire ourselves. And so that's that conscious to the subconscious mind. And if we know that we can rewire ourselves, that means that we can change and that we have a choice in making that change. The challenge is that when we have, say, let's a symptom or anxiety, which can bring on anxiety or overwhelm or whatever, we go into that survival mode. And when we're in that survival mode, that fight, flight, freeze,
Hmm.
we start to shut down our cognitive abilities, our memory, etc. And so this makes us feel like we don't have a choice. So if we can, this comes back to that consciousness awareness, if we can calm ourselves down, now our mind will be able to process easier. In other words, we'll be able to make distinctions easier, not be so affected by that overwhelm, that stress. And the key is to know that we can use emotion and feeling then to rewire ourselves in the direction we want to go.
Yes.
So instead of being anxious and stressed, I can be calmer, right? And when I'm calmer, I'm able to see things clearer, right?
Yes.
I have those
Makes perfect.
distinctions.
Yes, makes perfect sense. And many of us, particularly when you're sick, when you've got symptoms and they're daily and they're ongoing and you've had them for weeks or months or years, how do you begin to trust yourself?
The more that you can stay calm within, the easier it is to use our own inner guidance. And then this is where rituals come in. Let's say practice is just prayer, meditation, contemplation, times in nature, breathing, exercising, using music to calm ourselves. There's numerous rituals. These are called more like everyday rituals, things you can do throughout the day. Really, what we need is that consistency on some very simple things we could do to really stay in more of what we would want in that alpha state of our brain versus high beta. But just starting and keeping it simple and doing little things that we feel we can do and to integrate in our day will help us to come back again to present. Once we do that, we can start to trust ourselves more. Don't just trust one person, really do the due diligence. Get information from different sources and then really do the due diligence there and then sit with that and what really resonates, because it can be extremely overwhelming, especially with Dr. Google these days, right? So right. So do the due diligence, and then really sit with it as what is right for you. But then the key is to commit. So whatever that protocol may be, is you want to really commit.
Yes. To be able to commit and to be able to bring this consistency.
Yeah, consistency is key. I think that's what distinguishes exactly kind of people like you described, like yourself, from others. Those who exceed in certain ways, maybe are very accomplished authors or singers or whatever kind of level of accomplishment there may be. But generally the ones that distinguishes, the ones that are, let's say, at the peak, are those that have that consistency, perseverance and consistency, I would
Yes.
say. And yes, there is something, and generally they're doing some sort of rituals to get them to be present. Thank you so very much for having me.
Thank you so much, Silva Dvorak. This has been, I think, a wonderful, wonderful exchange here today. I hope that you, listener, viewer, have enjoyed it as much as I have. Thank you so much, Silva, for your amazing work, really, in the world, and for sharing here today with me. This interview and all my interviews are in the EMF Experts Solutions Club with transcripts. My name is Lloyd Burrell. Until next time, have a great day. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.